Hey there, welcome one and all to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. We are back at it again on the Aberration Investigator server, and I am one of your hosts of the day, Morski, also known as Morski, and welcome to Informed Decision. Now, alongside me is a very wonderful person, so would you like to say hi, my friend?
Yes, I would. Hello, everyone. I am Cartoon Kitsune, and today I will be playing as the Mirror System, specifically as Lyra to start out with. There may or may not be a shift. We never really know until it happens. But currently it's Lyra fronting, and I'll also be playing as Angelique, resident little shoulder angel, who ironically enough has more fiendish uh, what's the word? Uh,
Abilities?
Yeah, she's, like, related to Fiend lineage, that's the word, lineage. More of a
Uh,
fiendish lineage.
yeah. It's fine. She's just living her best life. And I suppose with
Eh.
that note, I am playing my lovely lady detective Moria. Uh, it's just another work day, you know? Don't worry about it.
Eh.
But I suppose with how this is starting, at least on Moria's end, yeah, it's a work day. Um, some time has passed in certain incidents. You still got a job to do, though, so, the office is open.
Eh.
There has been a meeting booked with her, so
Yes,
she's made
indeed.
sure to prepare for that. But
Mhm.
for now, it's a quiet moment at the office. The kids have probably gone out, or maybe like they're taking a break. So
Eh.
for now, Moria's just like taking a moment to go through some of the paperwork.
Mm.
Gives her less to do later after this.
Yeah, and, meanwhile, I'd say, outside of the, detective agency, a certain someone is, visiting out there. She most likely got the directions from, like, either Azumi or Prof, or I mean, she knows plenty of people now that, like, know where the agency is, so and, honestly, Azumi has probably helped her, like, set up the meeting and whatnot.
Yeah.
Eh.
So, to the mirror system, you are in front of a place that clearly has the sign Moria's office. It's a detective agency. What do you do?
I will say, since Lyra's the one currently fronting, she's kind of like just kind of like standing out there for a few minutes, like looking up at the sign and looking very excited because Lyra is actually kind of a fan of mystery novels and detective stories and stuff like that. She used to read them all the time before her eyesight started to kind of go not so great. But now, recently she got glasses though, so that's fortunately she's able to read books again, which is nice for her.
Hey, well, I think she will be pleased at some of the boards and stuff in there.
Mhm.
Uh, but well, does she open the door?
Indeed, she does.
Okay, cool. Well, if you want to roll me a percepi just to get a vibe check of the place.
Absolutely. And, she has her glasses now, so I don't think I need to give her a advantage or anything, so we got that.
Hey,
Right. That was
I
the wrong
guess.
channel. My bad.
Oh, whoops.
Oops. Okay, well, either way, that's an 11, so, not that
Okay.
great.
Still, you can like just from the brief look in here, like, yup, this is a detective's office.
Mhm.
You are currently in the entry corridor. You can see a couple like doors to rooms. They are open. You do with an 11. It'll take you a hot moment, but you do hear the noise of pen on paper. So
Yeah.
it's coming from the nearest room.
Yeah. I think Lyra's just, like, still taking a moment to kinda just take everything in, just kind of
There is
reveling
a
the fact that, like, this is, like, straight out of a novel for her. Meanwhile, I think Anjali's just kinda, like, rolling her eyes at her.
there is a corkboard in the corner. If you decide to peer like peer into one of the closer rooms, you have like the proper you know that one meme with like the guy with a lot of
Oh,
papers
Pepe
and string
Sylvia.
and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You probably have like a more low key version of that on one of the walls. And there are other bits and pieces too, though. I'll say you don't notice it immediately, since that's like more middling role.
Fair enough. Actually, just because I think it'd be funny, I think Lyra probably gets distracted by the corkboard and is kind of just like looking it over, and that might be where Moria finds her. Like she probably heard the door open and like footsteps inside.
Uh, well, Lyra, you are looking at the cork board. The first thing you see pinned on here is lists of snacks to buy at the store. You can spy. Man, I immediately forget what like everyone's favorite snacks are, but
Whatever they are,
you.
Lyra is actually absolutely making a mental note. Actually, I think actually better to the end that I think she takes a little journal out of her bag and starts like scribbling it down on one of the pages.
Lamau. Uh,
It's important to
uh
her, darn it.
you have now found out what are the preferred snacks of well, it isn't noted down who's like for who they are especially, but you can probably guess. But
Right on.
yeah, it's like it would be a list of like include like probably included somewhere. So Moria's, Camille's, Azumi's, Prof's, Tomes, Yu's, couple other folks that the mirror system hasn't met. But there's an impressive list.
Yeah, she's probably just noting down like the ones that she knows.
Yeah.
Because like, hey, maybe in the future she might like get a little gift for him or something.
Hey.
But yeah,
Uh.
Moria, if you want to poke your head out of the office, you see this young girl, probably like in her late teens, with like this long brown hair tied in these two braids, just kind of like peering over this corkboard and writing notes down on it. And sitting on her shoulder is a significantly smaller girl, about 1 foot tall, with these little feathery gray wings, sitting on her shoulder.
Yeah. Well, Moria isn't a toon. She's real kind, but she kind
Mhm.
of pokes her head from the room and goes, "Uh, hey, I don't suppose you're here to meet me, are you?" Like eyebrow raised, but she just seems amused.
I think Lyra lets out like a small little yelp of surprise and like quickly turns around and like just instinctively hides the turtle behind her back and is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My sincerest apologies. I just well, I've never been in an office like this, and I was just looking around a bit. My apologies. I didn't mean to intrude." And I
It's
think she's kind of like,
okay.
yeah, she's kind of like just doing the polite like rambling for a bit, but
Mhm.
Angelique kind of cuts in like, are you Detective Moria? I think we're supposed to meet you here.
I am indeed Detective Moria. What may I call you to?
You may call me Aurelia. And she gives a polite little curtsy, and Angelique kind of gives her a look, but decides not to comment on this. And she'll kind of stand up on her shoulder and say, and I'm Angelique. I'm her patron and her friend as well. It's nice to meet you.
It's a,
You're Azumi's boss, right?
I am indeed. It's a pleasure to meet you too. And like you both get a nod, and Moria will gesture to come on over.
And she'll walk inside.
Yeah. Uh, honestly speaking, you probably get led over to Moria's desk so that the two of you can like sit down and actually talk proper. I I do remember Izumi mentioning you two. Uh, And as I understand it, you had something you wish to ask me.
Yes, indeed. And she'll take a seat if there's like a place for her to sit down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that
Yeah,
that's where Moria would have led her to.
of course, yeah. And she sits very politely. She kind of like smooths her skirt out and like has her hands folded very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, honestly speaking, yeah, Moria is sitting down to well, she'll wait.
Uh, well, firstly, I wish to express my gratitude to you and your agency for taking our case initially. Um, we truly can't express how thankful we are that you had your assistance with that.
It's no problem. I feel Azumi should more get thanks to that, considering he went there alongside Prof and Crystal, didn't he?
Yes, of course, and make no mistake, I have thanked him in person many times before. Honestly, I'm not sure if I could ever thank him enough for what he and the others did for us, but I thought it was a little be proper to thank you as well.
It's okay. Not gonna lie, Moria internally is just going, oh, Azumi must have gotten embarrassed. Like she means this in a good way.
Aw. Yeah, at any rate, she continues. But
Hmm.
yes, well, it does have to do with the case that we were involved in. I perhaps I should ask though, how much of it were you informed about, just so I have a sort of baseline to go off of, so to speak.
So I was informed that a lot of this case had a lot to do with your personal matters, so they were left noted as private. So that comes down to what you would be comfortable in telling me, but I was noted about the sort of demiplane situation and the Prince of Gourds.
And I
Is
think
it
the yeah, I think once you mention his name, I think Aurelia just sorry, Lyra just says yes, that would be the crux of the case. And Angelique just like very visibly like scowls at the mention of his name.
yeah. Azumi noted that he's someone we should probably prepare for since he may be coming back at some point, so he's been
Indeed,
noted as a person of interest.
indeed, and that is what I wish to speak with you about. Azumi did mention that the majority of the cases your agency specializes in has to do with aberrations and not well, fiends, devils, what he appears to be. But I still thought that uh, sorry, trying to figure out how to say this.
No worries, take your time.
Okay. Um, that perhaps it would be helpful to at least confer with you about the matter in case you had some insight on that particular type of creature. And if not you, then perhaps you could refer us to someone who has more expertise on fiends.
So, admittedly, in our case, we haven't dealt with a huge amount of fiends. We know of a couple. There was one unpleasant fellow that's been dealt with. Uh, there is there is a person who lives with us, but that person is fine.
Yes, I believe Camille may have made some mention of that to us. I'm
At
not sure if
least
we'd
in my
be, yeah.
oh, just I suppose from my own experience it comes down to who they are as a person. But for any specific cases of how to deal with them, I'm afraid I don't have any specialized knowledge. I
Indeed.
can't I can tell you more about the situations I have seen around here. Uh
Yes, I do believe that'd be helpful as well. We were informed we were informed that there are how to put this. I think Angelique kind of like chimes in like, Camille said there's a lot of like murder mysteries around here, something like that.
Yeah, you could say that. Moria thinking directly on Camille's luck. Not she's not saying it out loud, but she sure is thinking about it.
Yes, well, we are planning on moving to if not somewhere in Villestown, then somewhere near it. So it would be it would certainly be good if we were to know if there are any major dangerous sorts of forces similar to that we should be watching out for while we are staying here.
Well, I suppose first things first. How long have you been in Einquell?
At this point, it's been a couple of months, give or take. I can't recall the exact amount, but the majority of it we have been spending in the hospital uh, for what we were being treated for. Um, we
Understandable.
yeah. Oh, we did get to go on a train one time. We went to I think it's some other part of Eichel. It's like kind of in the middle. But there's an amusement park there, and I think for like a minute or so, Angelique's just kind of like rambling for a bit about like what they saw at the amusement park.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
Honestly, Moria would smile at that and like nods along. Um, well, first things first, then. I feel it's fair to note that in general, Einquell as a land is pretty chaotic, though it tends to be the good kind. Uh, for the more specific things to Town, uh, murder mysteries are not uncommon here, though in your case, you hopefully shouldn't run into too many of them. Uh, this office's luck is just like that.
Mm. And
Now,
I think
hmm?
Angelique chimes in again. Well, if anyone did try to murder us, then I'd slash into pieces first, or we'd use or we'd use or magic. Yes, we did recently obtain the ability to use magic, so we at least have some means of self-defense.
I'd still advise that it wouldn't hurt to find some lessons of self-defense regardless, if it comes to a moment that you perhaps can't use your magic. Uh, and it would
Yes, we
anyway be a good idea with the issue of the Prince of Gourds.
yes, of course, we have been considering that as well. We were actually considering possibly asking Izumi for a bit of instruction on that. He is quite the capable fighter.
Like Moria nudge. Yeah, that would be a good idea. If you ever want a little bit extra help, don't be afraid to poke me either.
Yes,
I
of
can
course.
see if there are any pointers I can add alongside the zoomies.
Yes, of course. If you'd be willing to offer, I wouldn't want to interrupt your busy schedule or anything like that. I think Anjali kind of interrupts, like, yeah, we'd be fine with that, just to kind of get Lyra to stop her
Yeah, yeah.
polite rambling.
Wait for funsies. Angelique can roll a Persepi just for fun.
Ooh, absolutely. Let me grab her sheet. Persepi. Da-da. Okay, that's wisdom, so that's just a +1.
Okay.
Oh my
So
gosh, she
there's
got a
this
19 on the dice and a dirty
so
20.
So there's this really nice naginata that you can actually see close to Moria's desk. It looks well used.
Hmm.
Uh, just casually.
Angelique
You
is
get
staring very intently at the sword. That's a very cool sword.
oh no, this is a spear. This is a spear.
Oh, sorry, spear. My bad. Yeah,
Yeah, or
very cool spear.
uh you get it's like Angelique, you get the sense that maybe this old lady can in fact kick some ass. Don't worry about it.
Very cool. She is very much impressed.
Now, as to some of the things you may see here a fair amount, there are the aberration cases, which I'm in charge of handling. Far as I can tell, they have primarily been happening in the vicinity of Town, so you may need to keep an eye out for that. But there has been someone giving offers to people, I suppose, and causing them to transform into aberrations.
Oh goodness, that does sound rather dangerous. Ugh, another deal maker.
Hmm.
Figures he's not even that original, huh? And she kind of like smirks at at Lyra.
At least in the case of this person, we are still trying to find out who they are, though we know they are a she. Um, but the people in question are generally given power to resolve some sort of goal they have, but they become rather focused on it as a result and may offer unwanted help to others dealing with similar issues. They can be brought back to themselves, though. So, quite often, the office has been helping with that. And by quite often, Moria means the office has been dealing with all of these issues.
I think Angelique thinks for a moment and then she says, "Hmm. So is it kind of like making a contract with someone? Because we've already got one of those between us. So I don't know. If we already have a contract, do you think that'd protect us from someone else trying to make one?" I'll be honest, I
Likely
don't really
not.
know how this whole thing works.
Likely not, since from what we've spoken with all those who have been hit by it, it's more a case of being asked what you would wish and being granted that per se.
Ugh, gross. So it is just like him. Ugh. Mm. It does, I suppose, sound a bit similar to how the prince seems to operate. Out of curiosity, though, does this individual ask for anything such as their soul or their name?
No, she does not.
Mm. I suppose that means we're likely not dealing with the devil then, or I certainly hope not.
It doesn't appear to be the case, but for now, this person has been doing a pretty good job of being sparse whenever any of us have gone looking. She has
Mm.
been described as having a very sunny and bright voice, I suppose,
I see.
but from what we know, she isn't asking anyone anything in return.
I think there's a moment where Lyra kind of like not quite zones out, but she's kind of like doing like the little imagine spot thing. Like it's like I think she mutters to herself like, "Ah, detectives chasing after the mastermind."
Good for her. I mean, yeah, this sure is the town of detectives and phantom thieves.
Yeah.
But in any case, if you do catch sight of an aberration, it's best to stay out of their way and see about asking for help or getting word of notice over here so we can come and handle it.
Yes, of course. If we were to see anything dangerous like that, we would certainly make ourselves scarce. Well, maybe you would, but I bet I could take them. My girl, please. You really, I really don't think. No, I could totally take them. And then there's just a bit of back and forth between them, like just kind of like arguing about this.
If you're on your own, I'd advise you don't take them on. I might be able to do so, but it certainly wasn't easy when I had to. Better when you're not alone, yeah? And ideally, how you help bring a person back from being an aberration is by helping them actually resolve their problem.
I see. Yes. Well, I suppose that sounds a bit more doable. Though only if we were not putting ourselves in danger.
Mm. And like Moria is like looking at Angelique with like an eyebrow raised. Like it's cute that she wants to fight, but maybe don't do it on your own, kiddo.
Definitely. I think Angelique's, like, still a tiny bit pouty, like, still thinking, like, "Nah, she could totally take whatever an aberration is." At the very least, seems to drop the subject for the time being, so
mm. Elsewise, well, elsewise, there have been a couple more cases that have popped up. Night terrors are in a way similar, a form of aberration case, so I haven't seen one of those pick up in a while. Those more have to do with a person's fear and are more directly linked to a aberration. As for the case of a demon, uh, that one that one isn't around to cause problems anymore. But there was a case of a show with coins and trapping people inside of them.
oh, yes, I do believe, Camille may have mentioned something, about that as well.
Yes, he was involved in that case. So,
I'm certainly glad he made it out of that all right. That sounds like a rather frightful experience. Hmm.
mm,
So those ones turned souls into coins. The prince just, well, he said he ate them. Ugh.
well, I can't speak on why they might like that, but regardless, it's not exactly a good thing.
Well, I would assume it was either for some sort of sustenance or because it made him more powerful. Possibly both? I'm not quite sure. Mm.
At least for the one living at our house, his favorite food is apples, so skill issue on the Prince of Gourd's end, I suppose.
I think there's like a very small little like snort of laughter from Lyra, and she like covers her mouth, because she's very polite. Meanwhile, Angelique just like cackles at this, and, like nearly falls off of Lyra's shoulder.
Hey! Now, in terms of other things to look out over here, it can be a little easy to get lost sometimes. Uh, so it wouldn't hurt to get a map while you're still finding your way around. Uh, but elsewise,
Yes.
I suppose welcome to Villas Town.
Yes, and thank you very much. We're quite excited to be living here. We're still trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure out where exactly we're going to live. We have been looking at a few larger places, more on the outskirts of Villestown. We're trying to see not too terribly far, but somewhere around there.
Understandable. Well, if you need a temporary place to stay, I can probably point you towards a couple inns.
Yes, we were trying to figure that out. We're going to be leaving the hospital rather soon, so we've been talking with some of our other friends on living arrangements in the interim.
Okay.
Yeah, and if worst comes to worst,
S-
we can always just stay at a inn of some sort.
okay. Yeah, like real talk as well, Moria would be able, willing to like just note out a couple of places she knows, and like
Yeah,
what's good about which place.
definitely. I'll probably figure out like that little detail like out of character like sometime after this FPS. Like
Yeah,
there's gonna be like a
yeah.
small period of time where like after they leave the hospital, but before they get their manor. So.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Um, Elsewise, for any experts on dealing with such things, uh, let me now think, does the crew actually know of such a person? Cause real talk, it's not something that's really popped up much here.
Yeah, I will say out of character, I do have, plans for, that, but I, won't be getting into spoilers for that. So, I will just say, like, if Moria
Yeah.
can't think of anything, Lyra will just say something along the lines of, well, we'll most likely be, looking into that. We may even, put an advertisement. We are going to be needing to, if we do end up getting a larger home, then we'll likely need to, put out a call for, servants and the like. Perhaps we can put out one for a devil expert of some sort. If such
Mm,
a thing exists.
perhaps, yes. I'm sure there is. There are plenty fiends out in the world, both
Mhm,
nice and not, so
mhm.
at least for the interim, uh, I can point you towards Crystal as someone who knows a lot about magical ailments in general and as someone who's very good at researching.
Yes, of course,
You'll
mhm. She is indeed quite knowledgeable.
and Professor, while he might not have specific knowledge, A, you already know him, but B, he's seen a fair few things of his own. Now, I haven't dealt much with demons specifically, but I do have some skill in a fight. So, when it comes to it, I'm sure that we'll be around. So, don't be afraid to call for help, yes?
Yes, of course. Though I should probably note, apparently it is devils and not demons. But there seems to be a difference, though we do not know the difference currently. And then Angelique adds, "No, no, you gotta say it like," and she does a very mocking impression of the prince, like, devil, not demon. There's a difference." And that gets Lyra to laugh a lot more openly.
Like Moria is just casually noting it, like noting down to this. Okay, so Prince of Gourds, prideful, can probably insult him real bad.
Absolutely. Come for his throat like that. Good, you absolutely should do that.
As a treat
Yeah.
for the entire for the mirror system uh and friends.
Yeah.
Uh But honestly, with that elsewise, like Moria might just mention then a couple of the places in town. Just like, hey, if you're gonna be around here, then you should check out the Painted Lady Cafe. It's a nice place to go to if the crew haven't already heard about it.
Yeah.
And like
I
just
feel
point
like
out another.
yeah. I feel like if she's been hanging out with Leo, then he's absolutely talked up the painted lady at some point.
Yeah, considering that's his workplace, yes.
Definitely. Yes, Leo seemed rather insistent that we go visit there at some point.
Yeah, there's pretty nice drinks and food there. It's also where he works, so who knows, maybe you'll find him on call.
Yes, we can certainly hope so. And I think she has kind of like a mischievous little grin on her face for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just make sure not to sit in the plot relevant booth. You'll know what it is when you see it.
I think there's like an audible blinking thing from her, and she just says, "The what?"
Uh, it's more of a tune thing, but considering you'll be living in Einquell, there's we call it the plot relevant booth because whenever someone sits in it, something happens, be it there's an important talk for one reason or another, or maybe something's about to happen. But you'll know when you see it.
Duly noted. Thank you.
If she out of character, if she doesn't, I'm sure Leo or someone else
Oh,
will be able to tell
absolutely.
her.
Yeah, they'll
Uh,
probably point it out whenever she comes to visit.
mm-hmm.
Uh, yes, that covers most of, what we should look out for, oh, perhaps we should, share what, knowledge we have on the prince himself, unfortunately, it's not very much, but he did, tell us a few things.
That would be very helpful. Azumi has noted down some things, but more information never hurts.
The first thing you should know about him is that he's the worst, like, the absolute worst. Well, that's
Okay.
not really that's not really what I meant, but no, I mean, he is the worst. Like, he is just Lyra, what was that word? You said the other day, insufferable? Yeah, yeah, that one. And he never shuts up, and he always goes on and on about himself in a stupid voice, and he lies all the time, and I think that's enough, dear. I was talking more about well, for one thing, he did mention something about a ritual to summon himself. He didn't go into as much detail. But apparently he likened it to bringing gifts to a dinner party, uh, bringing food and drink, and something about blood sacrifice, which sounds rather awful.
Okay. I
But
mean,
the main
Moria is
thing,
noting that
Mhm.
down, just,
Of course,
huh,
yeah,
okay.
definitely. But I think the main thing that stuck out the most to us would be that, Uh, one of the main requirements seems to be bringing someone that is important to you, I suppose someone you love or care about very deeply, as they seem to be required as a sacrifice for the deal itself, though evidently it's not the price for the deal. Well, in our case, was name and the soul of the person making the deal. Yeah, if you make a deal with him, you have to give Um, I guess like when you die, he gets your soul too, in addition to like whoever else's.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like way too many. I mean, that's like what 2, 3 souls, depending on like how many he asked for. That's like so many. Well, I suppose it is granting a wish of sorts, so magic like that would be rather powerful, I would assume.
Mostly it just sounds like he's rather greedy.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yes, certainly sounds like him.
Yeah, admittedly, Moria is not giving much thought on this yet.
Mhm.
It's just kind of internally eyebrow raise. Huh, so this is the sort of person we're dealing with. Okay.
Yep. Um, I suppose something else to possibly look out for. I don't really know the extent of his power, but he was able to create that demi-plane, and I believe Dr. Crystal mentioned something about it also being the spell Dream, sort of a mixture of those spells. I honestly have no idea how those work, but I think he said something about trials. Yeah, it was. He makes those demi-plane thingies to test people to see if they're worthy of making a deal with him or some stupid stuff like that.
Okay. Well, it certainly sounds like he's got high leveled magic. Do you. What do you know about his abilities elsewise?
Hmm. Uh, I didn't see them terribly up close during the fight. I was restrained at the time, though I did see some of it. He had the staff he used to attack the others, and though the injuries, I can only describe it as sort of sucking the life force out of them. Something along. And he can
Alright.
teleport. He can teleport. That's the word, right? He can just pop up in like places all over. That was really annoying too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All that's gonna be casually noted down. Um,
Mm.
Moriya's also likely going to ask Prof and Izumi later
Yeah, they
about,
could probably give more details about the fight itself.
yeah.
I do believe that's everything. Oh, wait, should we mention about your oh, right, I suppose that, well, it may be relevant. So while we were in the demiplane, it was sort of a reflection of some of our memories, and including some that were repressed that had been repressed due to well, we were afflicted with amnesia. That part, it's a bit complicated, but the relevant part would be that we discovered a memory of well, our brother. Um,
Okay.
see, right, well, I have this twin brother by the name of Hugo. We well, we're twins actually, but uh, thing is, as far as we were aware, he appears to have passed away about a year and a half, 2 years, give or take. But the thing is, we found this memory in that demiplane, or perhaps it was something the prince left for us to mock us. Either way, if it is truthful, then our brother may have made a deal with the prince, and again, we are uncertain if he is alive or not, but well, if he is alive, there is a chance he may be, well, working for the prince. So,
Okay. If we catch sight of him, would you like to talk to him?
there is a very long, very thoughtful pause, and I think at one point Lyra kind of closes her eyes as though she's trying to focus on something. Moria wouldn't know this, but there's a bit of a conversation going on inside her head at the moment. A few different voices kind of discussing the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, though, after like maybe a minute or so, she opens her eyes again and says, "Yes, we would like to speak with him. There's a lot that we need to, possibly a few
Okay.
things to apologize for, but at any rate, well, I can give you a description of him. He's, well, likely a bit older than what I can recall when I last saw him. But
Mm-hmm.
his hair color is similar to mine, the sort of shade of brown, and his eyes are similar as well, which are sort of this like kind of reddish pink sort of color.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like Moria would be noting this stuff down. And like in part her question of would you like to talk to him is her asking, hey, how do you want to handle him then?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Which at least at this point Moria is just
Mhm.
noting try and see if talking is possible.
Mhm.
Ideally, and ideally have Aurelia there.
Definitely. Mhm.
But yeah, she'll be noting. She will be nodding along and noting this down.
Mhm. Again, I'm not entirely sure whether or not he's still alive. I suppose well, with the prince's abilities, there's a chance that maybe he might have faked his death to run away. Apparently, his the wish that he made for their deal, it was something along the lines of no longer wishing to be part of the world we were in, specifically the world of nobility and high society. It was, well, rather difficult for the both of us in different ways. Now that I think about it, though, if that was his wish, one thing a few of our friends posited was that the wish may have also involved possibly changing his name or his appearance. And if he wished to be anywhere else than anyone else, then well, perhaps. Mm, but this is merely speculation. I don't have any hard evidence to
Mm-hmm.
back it up.
I do apologize, Kit. Your voice has gone super roboty, so I didn't hear the most recent part of what you said.
Oh no, sorry about that. Yeah, no, she was just saying that basically like she and some of the others who were on that case speculated that if his wish was to be anywhere else and anyone else, he might, be able to like fake his identity or something. So like the description she gave may not necessarily, be what he currently looks like.
Ah, yeah, yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah, you
Which,
might not
yeah,
even be going by the name Hugo, so who knows?
yeah. So to that, Moria will nod and thanks for that, and will give a thanks for that note. It's being added to his profile.
Mhm.
I suppose with everything, is there anything in particular you'd like to ask or request? In light of all
Mm.
of this.
I do believe that should be everything we wish to cover, but thank you again so much for your time. And oh, is there a good way to keep in contact with you? We do have the address of your agency, of course. What else? Mm.
Phone line does work, and if you have a plot device, I can see about adding you to the group chat that's been set up.
Oh, yes, of course. I nearly forgot about that. And she'll reach into her bag and pull out uh has it ever been described like what plot devices look like? Because I figure it's like probably rectangular, like a cell phone or something.
A plot device is straight up a phone. It's just called
Yeah,
plot device.
that's what I figured. So yeah, she holds up what is clearly a plot device.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Which, hey, like Moria will pull out her own plot device and like bit of talking, this and that.
Yeah,
There you go. You've gotten the invite.
it's. I think Lyra will also ask. I was wondering, is it normal for them to just sort of appear because we just sort of found it on on our the nightstand at our hospital room one day.
Yeah, as I understand, it's apparently because they're plot convenient.
Oh,
It's
I
probably
see.
better
Hmm.
to ask, perhaps Camille about what that means, but they certainly are convenient for communicating.
Mhm. Yes, well, it is certainly good to have a way to contact anyone in case of an emergency or the like.
Hmm. There are a couple places you can go to in town as well where you can like get accessories and such for your plug devices. I've seen some of them pop up. Uh, but yes. uh, this group chat in particular, uh, has a lot of folks from town. There are also folk from outside of town. So it's a pretty good way to be able to reach a lot of people.
Um, I'm gonna say roll insight on Lyra for a moment.
Insight, you say?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. That's
All
a
right, perfect.
26.
Yeah, that'll definitely do it. Yeah, yeah. You can tell. Lyra definitely seems like a bit nervous at the prospect of like talking to that many people like all at once, even if it is just in a little like text based like messaging sort of thing.
uh, like, to that Moria will say, it's okay if you need time or if perhaps you'll lurk at first. But, well, A, if everyone were to talk at once, that would be impossible. Generally, it's only a couple people at a time, at most. And, in the end, go at your own pace, yeah?
Yes, of course, and well, I suppose perhaps it'll be a little bit easier when it's not in person, so to speak. So there's that.
Mm.
But yes, I do believe that was everything we wanted to cover. I don't suppose you have any questions for either of us.
Uh, let's see. Does Moria have specific questions?
I mean, you could ask Angelique like what her whole deal is because she did mention something about being her patron, which is interesting considering what patrons usually are.
Oh no, yeah. That's fair. Admittedly, Moria figures like that probably falls under personal information.
Fair
It would be
enough.
kind of a jerk move to interrogate someone I just met.
Fair enough. I mean,
She's polite, thank you very much.
yeah. I mean, you could always ask like if it's not like if you don't mind me asking one of those things. Again, up to you if Moria would ask that or not.
I do apologize. You went to Roboty again.
Oh
Could you please
no,
repeat?
Discord. Yeah, no, I was saying like if Moria would like want to ask, she could always say something like if you don't mind me asking or something like that.
No, yeah, that's fair. Honestly, what Moria's given me is, I have heard that the situation was quite a lot, so I suppose the question I have for you is, are you holding up okay with everything?
Yes, of course we are doing quite well, and I think Anjali gives her a very pointed look, and
Yeah,
Lyra's
I'm looking at that 26 Moria got a little bit earlier. Is
yeah.
how much of an outright lie is that?
I think after Anjali, like both of you give Lyra this look, she just kind of like huffs like I truly mean it this time. I think Angelique just like raises an eyebrow at her.
Like
Okay,
Moria doesn't say anything, but like she is giving a bit of a look.
okay, I am aware that I have not always been truthful about these sorts of things, but well, at the very least, I can honestly say that we are significantly better than I was previously. I mean, with the prince no longer harming us, among
That's
other
good.
things. Yes. Um,
Okay.
other than that, well, there was a bit of a personal matter having to do with well why we've decided to stay here in Ikewill, but that's I don't it's not really necessary to mention that. We're trying to focus on the more positive aspects of it. And well,
Okay.
honestly, I think we're going to be a lot happier living here in Ikewill, so
It is quite a nice place. I can confirm that myself, having
mhm.
moved here myself.
Oh, you are not from Ikewill either. If it's not too impertinent of me to ask, may I ask where you hail from?
I come from a place called the Metropolis. It's pretty far off. You probably haven't heard of it, but Anquil is a lot nicer of a place to live in compared to it.
Yes, I don't believe I've heard of that place as well. We hail originally from over in Veroma, the country of Strios. It is well, it is a rather beautiful place, but well, the people there weren't quite as welcoming here, so to speak. And well, now that we have more friends here, among other things, we would certainly prefer to be living here now.
That is very fair. Uh, yeah. I think as well to that, like Moria is going to note like, well, I suppose if you're going to be staying here as well, don't be afraid to come visit. Yeah, I'm sure the boys would enjoy being visited by their friends. Might be a bit busy here at times, but
Oh, certainly. I mean, I would not want to get in the way, but it's been rather fascinating seeing a real detective office. I think Angelique
mhm.
leans in and says, like in a stage whisper, like, "She's a huge like detective nerd." I think Lyra kind of like playfully swats at her. What you are? You said you like those books. Oh, yes, I do, but
Moria is very amused.
yeah, you should have seen her when she walked in. Her eyes got all big, and
I
Angelique
did
keeps
know.
going on like that, while Lyra's just just like looking down at the floor.
Yeah, Moria will gently tease a bit as well, like, ah, yes, I did notice you took a note of our snacks board. Is there anything you two might, uh, is there anything you two might like?
I think Angelique will say, uh, I know we like apple strudel. Well, I know, one of us does. Do you? Yes, no, I like that one as well. That one's more of a, Straussian dish, so, it's probably not as, common around here.
Probably not, but we'll see if there's something around.
It's a sort of a flaky pastry with an apple and a raisin filling. It's quite good. If you, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure if you've ever tried it, but,
Uh, I don't think I've tried that one specifically, but
Mhm.
there's an old friend who made cherry strudel before, so I've
Oh,
had that.
that sounds quite good as well. Perhaps, if we find a bakery that sells it, we will have to try that.
Mm? Do tell me if you find it. I did rather enjoy the one I had. Oh.
Actually, funnily enough, for the listening audience, I think with all the desserts being mentioned, I think Colette's probably popping up in Kokon at the moment, and internally Lyra's kind of having to like shush her, like yeah, yes, my girl, we'll go get it's something sweet after the meeting is finished up.
I think I think with that though, like I will say Moria on her end has noted like Angelique's interesting situation question mark, and
Mhm.
she's noticed the use of we a couple times. But
Yeah,
that's a fun thing for the future, I suppose. Whenever the girls are okay with sharing that.
definitely. For now, though, I think we can probably wrap this FPS up. I think that's about all we wanted to cover. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Lyra will again give a polite little curtsy as she says farewell.
Mhm. Yeah, Moria will wave her off, and congratulations, you have met Detective Mom Friend.
Yay! And now we
Oh,
start placing our bets on how long it'll take Moria to adopt these two. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
don't even worry about it. But hey, thank you for FPSing with me. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for doing it with me too. This I had a really good time.
Yee. And
Mm,
Oatmeal, you are awesome. And to everyone else who is listening, you're also fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to everyone listening now and in the future. And we wish you all a very good time zone. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.